Dr. Andrushko is a pioneer in the field of anthropology. She currently teaches an independent study course at Southern Connecticut State University, with the intended goal of giving students hands-on research to prepare them for their future careers in anthropology.
We have a very exciting program in anthropology, and I hope that we can do a good job at showing students what anthropology has to offer, about learning about cultures living today, learning about cultures who have lived in the past, learning about the evolution of our own species, and learning about how these techniques can be applied to modern day problems. I wanted my students to get experience that they wouldn't necessarily find anywhere else. And you'll find that with anthropology, oftentimes students in undergraduate environments don't get the fieldwork experience, but when they're applying to graduate school, they're expected to already have fieldwork experience. So there's a disconnect there, there's a void, and that's what I'm trying to fill. When they're applying to graduate school, their potential professor is so impressed. They say, wow, this person's been to Peru, they've worked on skeletal samples from Connecticut, they've done independent studies, they have very strong letters of recommendation. It's about producing superstars, and that's what having that hands-on research is absolutely necessary. The trip to Peru was a wonderful experience for both my students and me. They had the opportunity to be in the lab with me every single day. We were doing original research that my students were side by side with me with this research. I remember as an undergraduate hoping to get just this kind of experience, and I was fortunate enough to have people bring me onto their projects to start building my experience. And this was my goal as a teacher, was to start incorporating undergraduates into my research so that they could see every single step of analysis. They see exactly what we need to do from the beginning moments of washing a bone, all the way to laying out the skeleton, to doing an inventory, to collecting the data, and photographs. Both of my students became exceptional photographers on this project. The wonderful thing is that it helps me out so much, because when one student is taking a photograph, the next student can be laying out an additional skeleton, and the research just went so much faster than it could have ever been when I was doing it alone.
I have not done field research with Dr. Andrushko yet, but I am traveling to Peru with her this summer. I'm going to be working in the lab there in Cusco and doing as much hands-on work as I can possibly get in those 4 weeks.
I definitely think that being in this independent study will help me with my career. It's hands-on preparation for the field and for my future career, hopefully as a professor at a university.
I love how intimate this class is. It's very small, as you can see, and I learn a lot more, I feel, because I can ask hands-on questions, and I have more available resources to me, and I know the people in this class very well, and I love that.
I originally was interested in archaeology, but after seeing different presenters who were forensic anthropologists, I became very interested in human remains, and I took the osteology class with Dr. Andrushko, and that sparked my interest in the field.
I've developed a collaboration with Dr. Nick Bellantoni, who is the state archaeologist of Connecticut, and Dr. Bellantoni has been wonderful about bringing skeletal samples to our laboratory for analysis. So we're doing active bioarchaeological research in Connecticut.
I really like the fact that we get to work with cases that the state archaeologist brings to us. I feel like it's helping in the community, and it's something really exciting to do. I feel like we're really doing work as undergraduates that it's really exciting.
In one example, he brought us an articulated skeleton of the likes I had never seen before. It was crouched into a hyperflex position, what some students called a gargoyle position.
My favorite specimen, I'd have to say, is the post body. There was a school in Greenwich that had a skeleton that someone had actually put together themselves, an amateur archaeologist, in, I'd say, a kind of a gargoyle type look. So the class actually got to take it apart, clip all of the wires out and separate the bones. That was a great experience. It was so much fun.
The surprising thing is that when you looked at the skeleton, we saw several mistakes that the person had made when they were articulating it. And when I mean articulating, I literally mean they strung every single bone up with wire so that it looked like a complete skeleton. But when we looked at the tibia, the bone of the shin, they had switched the right and left sides. So it was clearly not someone who was trained in osteology. We are just beginning a forensic science minor here at Southern, which is going to be the only forensic science minor offered in the CSU system. I believe this is one of the most exciting curriculum opportunities for students here at Southern. So students will be expected to take courses from anthropology, from biology, from chemistry, from sociology, and from psychology. So this is a very broad overview of the forensic sciences, how science can be used in a legal context, how science can be used to solve crimes, how science can be used to explain unexplained deaths.